What did you do for your birthday? Nothing. Nothing. I don't celebrate my birthdays anymore. Got another year older and said goodbye to the woman I love. Had birthday, phone sex. Drank a bit. And then hung out with some friends and watched some Star Trek. TNG. All in all, one of the better birthdays I've had in many years. My birthday party is tonight. IDK if I wanna go because last night my significant other lied to me about where she'd been all day. So she could drink without me getting upset. Her father just passed and she's going down a dark path. I asked my dad to help me talk to her and he turned on me saying drinking and driving really isn't a big deal and I'm not really a man for worrying so much. The party is at a pool hall because I love to play pool, but IDK if I want to be around a bar right now. I feel really hurt and betrayed by a man who up until now has always had my back. I don't know how to deal with any of this and I'm terrified for her future. Ordered a 72 ounces prime rib. Went to NYC for the weekend and saw Wicked on Broadway. Buy ingredients for my dinner. Bought a cheesecake for myself. Made dinner. Ate the cheesecake and watched movies. I book the week of my birthday off every year, so I don't ever do anything the entire week. Had a beer while playing some LOL. Do what everyone else wanted to do instead of what I wanted to do. Parties suck. Was sick, so played Minecraft. Got stood up for a dinner date. Ended up crying. And then later going to my favorite restaurant with a friend. Sat in my room and reflected on my lonely life. Nothing to be honest. Me and my partner both took 2-day leave and had a sex marathon. Honestly, I get a little depressed every year. My birthday is on July 5th. I used to celebrate every year on the 4th of July with my grandparents. My grandfather passed in 2019 and they sold the house. It's been a heavy day for me since then. However, in 2019 to 2021 my husband managed to make my birthday nice. Plan a dinner or bring flowers. This year, my brother had COVID so I couldn't see my parents as they were quarantined with him. And it's been so busy with our kids and my husband's work that he did not get me a gift or a card. It was just like any other day. He did let me pick dinner, but I'm not trying to waste money, so I said pizza from a place we don't usually get pizza from, because it's pricey. I was thinking about what my kids would want. I'm still sad about it. Also, I think I've just been depressed lately. Don't feel very special. Mine's next month, but we're reattempting a hike we failed last year. My wife twice. Went to work, came home, got a BJ, ate some birthday pie, got laid. I'd say it was a good day. Gaming. My birthday is August 2nd. I'll be camping in Banff to celebrate. Well, the day of my birthday I fought with my father because he's an asshole and he deserved it. If you're asking why, the reason is he spent his birthday with his second family instead to us. His first and legal family. And he has the audacity to tell me it's not a big deal. I'll accept someone who will say not. But for me it is. After that he left again. Like he always do. I made him do that 'cause I know he's not really looking forward to hang out with us, he just want to be called a good father, despite not going to my other birthdays. Our fight finished a couple minutes after he left. We left too. We stopped by a church to celebrate my another year in this world. Then we visited our newly born cousin in the hospital. The original plan is to go to a museum, but we're late because I fought to my father first. Lastly, we visited a historical landmark in Manila because it's really what I want. It's not really the best, but at least I get to celebrate it. I had a bunch of people over and made dinner from scratch. I made garbanzo bean burgers with homemade buns. I forgot the side, but made my own cake. My friend helped with the icing. It took several days to do because I still had work on the days coming up to my birthday. Then we played Monster of the Week with my wife as GM. I went white water rafting with one of my buddies for my 21st. And boy is it a great story. We ended up on a Chick-fil-A raft with a group of military folks. Naturally, they were all very coordinated and worked exceptionally well as a team. So we had no navigational issues. With 3 rows for us to sit. I sat at the front with my favorite soldier. Quiet and collected. And my buddy sat in the middle row behind me. Off we went. Note that it's a well-known fact that the guide for your rafting trip will eventually try to flip the raft, or soak you in dangerous rapids. However, we had been on the rapids for a good while and hadn't flipped yet. Some parts were rough. We just thought we were good enough to keep us afloat despite the guide's efforts. We actually saw one other raft flip. So we felt like God's chicken raft was going to keep us safe after all. Nearing the end of the trip, we reached some rapids of epic proportions. We were primed and ready to go. Our guide told us to turn into a part of the rapids where water rushes down. We approached a very violent waterfall. At this point, our guide has stepped up to basically push us into the downpouring rapids. I was primed and ready. And so was my military companion to my side. We hunkered down and prepared to hold steady as the front of our raft was shoved into the rapids by our guide. And they got me. I felt a suction pulling at my body and soul. And under I went. Underwater. Then under the raft. I was stuck. And I felt rapids shoved me into the bottom of the raft. Essentially, I was able to escape by crawling on the bottom until I reached the raft side to get pulled up. I was the only person who fell. Epic. We all feel quite confident in ourselves. And I feel invigorated having recently battled with the carving force of canyons. A twist in what was expected. Our guide turns back into the rapids for round 2. I'm ready this time. I hunker down more than before. Have you ever stood on a rug as someone snatches it out from under you? As we entered the rough waterfall again. That's what I felt. Due to my previous experience going under. I immediately dove into the rapids and rode them out. I feel others falling in behind me. And I feel the top of the raft underwater. It flipped. My attempt to stand was quite poor. Rocks struck my legs until I just decided to float to another raft. Eventually, another raft did come along and we were all pulled on. My buddy was feeling queasy for the rest of the trip. But I think we did exceptionally well in recovering and getting back to shore. It was a blast. What of my buddy though? Well, he had hunkered down before hitting the rapids too. Although, he really hunkered down. I mean he had tucked himself in between the raft wall and his seat. Hunkered down. When we flipped, he flipped with the raft. Like an extension. He sat completely upside down and slammed his head on rocks below. We had helmets. Thankfully. So he only suffered a small cut and nausea. Not a concussion. For those of you who thought like I did. But yeah, I had a blast and inadvertently beat up my buddy for my 21st. TL. Doctor. I went white water rafting with a friend. And our raft got flipped over. I floated to safety after rocks whacked me. And my friend went upside down with the raft since he was tucked in between the seat and raft wall. He's okay and so am I.